In this video, I would like to discuss a really interesting word, and that word is Ritam, R-I-T-A-M. It's known in context of a larger form, Ritam bara pragyam, and it means essentially truth, but it also relates to action. So you can think of it as like virtuous action or right action. That's like the definition that you will read online for that word. But there's a deeper, more kind of elaborated meaning for this word, and that is that action that is so subtle on the level of consciousness that its intentions manifest instantly. And that's how I first heard the word. Someone used it in my environment, and I'm like, what does that mean? And they said, oh, that means to be able to manifest anything directly from consciousness alone. And I was like, in what world do you need a word for that? Right? What culture or society would have given birth to a word that means to use just consciousness, just attention or awareness to manifest anything? That's amazing. So it turns out to be a very useful word, actually. And of course, in energy healing, one of the principles is that we are manifesting. We're using consciousness, in this case, to heal the body. But sometimes, even in energy healing, we're using consciousness to change the course of events or the outcome of actions, or lots of different ways that the consciousness can interact with the material world to produce effects that are really life-supporting. At this point, in order to explain the deep mechanics of how Ritam works, we need to bring in another principle. And this is also a Vedic principle, that the words in Sanskrit contain the precise combination and order of consonants and syllables and vowels to produce a resonating effect, a resonant effect that has a specific outcome. And of course, mantras are like that, right? Those who are familiar with mantras, mantra is a meaningless set of sounds, but the effects of those sounds combined is known. So all words in Sanskrit are like that, that the word itself contains the vibrational frequency of the thing which it describes. So what that means is the word Ritam actually describes the mechanics by which consciousness can create anything directly from its unmanifest nature. So let's look at the word Ritam. It only has 5 letters, R-I-T-A-M, and we're just going to analyze those letters a little bit and see how these mechanics unfold. We know that there's one unified, single, eternal, unbounded, unmanifest source of everything that exists. And the way the unmanifest source of creation manifests the whole diverse universe is by creating a hum or a vibration within its own nature. And that hum or vibration is the folding of pure awareness or pure perception, pure consciousness in on itself. As that happens, there's a little vibration that's created between the awareness of the source of creation, of itself as one, with the awareness of itself as 3, 1 and 3. And so nothing has manifested yet. We're talking about the source of creation before anything manifests, but it goes back and forth between I am knowingness to I am knowingness, knowing itself as knowingness, knowingness, knowing itself as knowingness, right? So that creates a knower, known, and process of knowing. And so that's the 3, and they're all the same thing. They're all one thing. So there's like back and forth, 1 and 3 and 1 and 3 and 1 and 3. So this back and forth that happens, it's like a little wave or vibration that happens in the source of creation. It gives rise to the energy and the resource that comes out and creates the manifest field of life. So that vibration back and forth is represented with the sound, the roll of the roll is describing that like infinitely fast, but also the detail of it. It's one sound, but it's also multiple sounds, right? Because the r breaks down the sound into little individual impulses as well as being a single sound. It's a cool sound, like Rig Veda or something. Anyway, so r is the first sound that comes in the word Ritam. The second sound is the sound I. And all the vowel sounds are kind of open mouth sounds, right? They don't close, the tongue doesn't close against the back or the front or the top or the teeth or anything. It's an I and it's an open. The mouth is essentially open, but it's a modified open because ah is a full open and ah is also a sound in this word Ritam. The full open of ah refers to the source of creation. It is that infinite, unbounded, eternal, unmanifest field of all that is being expressed as a sound in the mouth. So all the other vowel sounds are modifications of ah. They're like closing the mouth a little bit. So all of these sounds are ah, but they're ah doing something, taking action. And I is the action sound. E is the big action sound. It's further back in the throat. And then I brings the E forward. I, E. You can feel it. If you go from E to I, you feel that the action bringing the ah into action becomes a little more intense, basically. So I is a very sort of intensified form of wholeness of creation, taking action, becoming, being, becoming. So you have r, which is the role of the awakening of wholeness. And then I is the bringing that role into action. Rit, the ta of Ritam is the point where that action of wholeness reaches the surface. It's like a little point. It's a little point at the surface. So rit. This tells the story of the evolution of the entire creation. Starting from the source of creation, it rises up and it manifests as some form in our reality, in our universe. And then when the manifestation has occurred, the reason for its occurrence is validated or justified by the fact that awareness then enters into the object which has been manifested. Just like we have awareness in us, we are the objects, our bodies are the objects manifested, and the awareness is in us. Our awareness is in us, and that awareness has the capability of recognizing totality in the point. Totality is found in the point. And that is why after ta, we get a. Rita. Rita. Rita tells the story of how the source of creation manifests as all the points of creation. And it does so over and over and over and over again. And this process, continuous process for the sake of evolution, which is why we manifest things from consciousness. The things that we intend to manifest from consciousness must be aligned with cosmic evolution in order to come to the surface. Because if we try to manifest something that doesn't support evolution of ourselves or anybody else, then that thing will create nothing but trouble. And it won't garner the support of the laws of nature required to allow you to manifest from consciousness directly. So, Rita, back to the source of creation. I'm using my backdrop as a diagram for the way consciousness manifests, right? Source of creation down here, point of manifestation up at the top. Yeah. It happens again and again. And as it happens, it creates the hum of the universe. And the sound in Ritam represents the fact that manifestation is never ending. It is never ending. We are constantly manifesting from consciousness everything in our universe, everything of ourselves, everything of our world. Everything that exists, including your own body and yourself, is being constantly manifested by you from the level of consciousness. Ritam. If you like the content of this video, please like and subscribe. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to share. Thanks for being with me.